Welcome back to Give It the Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
And we have Mr. Tyler Watkins joining us again.
My name
this one.
I
love that one.
I am awesome.
I love that one, dude.
I like
Tyler is very awesome because all the work that is going into this show is coming from Tyler, and it's going to be great. And I'm already excited. I was hoping we're going to get something like this in P-Score, and you're just going to have to wait for the end.
Oh, I was so happy.
And when you sent that to me, I just looked at my phone and was like, what? Like
that crazy? Is that crazy?
Yeah.
The men, we'll get there. But welcome to P-Score in the CrossFit Games, everybody. It is the 20th. We are 5 days from Christmas. We are 3 days from our annual recap with Coffee Pods and Wines, which will be on Monday. I believe it's 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, because we're at noon. Yep.
Tyler, you can just sit back and watch that one.
Oh, I'm stoked. I think we should have done like a review show, like where we cover the media and all that stuff. Like our, what do you call it, Emmys or Grammys or whatever.
Oh yeah. The end of year awards. What do they call it in the office?
Oh, the Dundies.
The Dundies. Yeah.
The Dundies.
The Spinnies. I don't know. That's the Spinnies. If you guys can see the light on my face, this is 10 a.m. in my house, and just right where my blinds are, just this sliver. You guys can see that damn sliver.
Is it a beam? Like
just smacks me right in the face.
That's awesome.
I miss my mom. Has smoked my whole life and still smokes to this day.
Man.
And there's something about sitting in her house and the thickness of the air and those beams of light coming through. That is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's home. Yeah, it just makes it feel like home. All right. Before we get to P-scoring, the 2008 CrossFit Games, breaking news from our friends over at Sherpa Works. The OG culture is back. The shirts are live. Go ahead and get yourself. You've got crop top tees, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, regular t-shirts, and it is here. And that sweet, beautiful baby just sitting there ready.
It's so simple and so
It
powerful.
is.
It's so simple. It's so wonderful.
Not flashy,
all live.
just deep.
Pukey nestled in that in is like
Right?
Yeah.
Dude.
right.
That looks good because in the past we have switched the I out with Pukey, or it's infused in the O for the OG shirts. But what Ken did for here, it was, absolutely beautiful. So those are live. You guys can go to theogculture.com and go pick yourself up one of each if you want to. Yeah, Corey, if you want to crop top it, you want to go full Nick Matthew, that's fine. No scissors required.
Do it.
Nice, clean cut across. And there's OGs and Pukey Athletic Club or Health and Fitness Club, and then some socks. So those are on sale while you pick up this. And this is exactly what you guys should be getting your favorite. If you guys are a member of an affiliate and you're like, I should get something from my owner, this is what you should get them. All of these things.
Yes.
Pick one of each across the board. Get it for your owner as a little thank you. Maybe talk amongst your other members, right? He doesn't need 3 of each. But they've got some coaches there. The ones that are doing the heavy lifting for our community. Shout out to affiliate owners. Shout out to coaches and managers. Shout out to the core members, the ride or dies. Right? These are all for you. So I'm super pumped about that. It is live. It is ready to go. So go get it. Theogculture.com and go pick yours up today. And then today, short episode, 4 events. That was the 2008 games. When Bill and I were analyzing the programming here, this was a unique format. A format you could never do again and get away with it. And everybody, could you imagine if this?
No way, dude. Our programming show would like completely explode, implode.
It might be the one thing to unify the community again, because everybody would be like, "What the hell is this crap?"
Yeah,
We find the fittest person on earth.
Yeah, talking about like using the total time, I appreciate the underlying sentiment of which they
Mhm.
had to do that, but there is a very thin line of how you need to run events to pull that off, and they didn't do it.
Well, and think about what, as far as our definitions and how we were trying to use them and how not just as training, but like now trying to make it a competition. We
Mhm.
talk about increased work capacity across broad times and modal domains. So it's like, can you do more work in a short amount of time? So all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, every second counts. It makes sense.
Right.
So in theory, in our youth as a sport,
Year
I
2.
think it was
Year
a
two.
this was a shot at it, but this was like one of those things like Chase, when we've like designed, worked out and programmed workouts, and we're like, this is going to be a great one for the class. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And
Yeah.
we watch it and we're like, oh damn, we fucked that one up.
Oh no.
Like I'm going to have to change this one by the noon class because the early class it was not what it was supposed to be.
But here's some things with this. In 2008, with what they did and what they tried, it was awesome. Everybody loved it. I don't think anybody was complaining.
No, they didn't know any different anyway.
I'll talk about some complaints later, which is there's a couple jaw-dropping things
Oh yeah.
that we will hit by
Couple
the
Matt
end.
Mursky
I was
things.
actually- yeah, okay. Foreshadowing.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Bill. I didn't even text you this. I texted this to Tyler. Talking to you on the side. But in the very first CrossFit Games documentary ever with Savan Matosian and the Every Second Counts CrossFit Games doc. And the way the format worked is, as you guys think, there was 4 events. Everything was for time. And the final, which I thought was a really cool way to do the final in this format and how they did it, is they took basically going into the 4th event, whoever had the fastest cumulative time goes first. And then however far they're ahead of the person in second, that's when they release that person to go. And so on and so forth. So if I'm sitting at 9 minutes and Bill's at 9:30, I start at 0. And then at 30 seconds, Bill starts. And at 37 seconds, Tyler starts. And what happened at the end of that finale, whoever finished first won the CrossFit Games.
A beautiful, a crazy beautiful idea.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. We had nothing. Dave and Greg had nothing and Tony had nothing to set it up against to be like, okay, is it the right thing? It was a cool, like, if you think about where it was, our definitions of what we'd been using, the only competition that we had to kind of line it up next to was the 2007 games,
right?
And definitions. It appeared to make sense,
right?
It really did, and it made for a great race, even though, like, as far as the definition of what we're trying to accomplish and all that didn't happen, but it made for a really cool race at the end where it's like, wow, I deserve to be in the front because I put myself in that position. So now you guys have to chase me because I am X amount of seconds ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in theory, it's cool.
It is cool. Here's the thing. It was cool.
Yeah.
And it still is cool. But
the videos from that
really
fired me.
It was
man.
all super cool, which was the most fun part about what this was. So I think, yeah. So we'll get in this. Will, this is you. I was talking to this guy yesterday. He's talking about collagen powder proteins, which one to do. Bubs Naturals is running a special right now at bubsnaturals.com. That if you order anything over $25, they're going to give you a free 10-ounce tub of collagen protein.
Oh, dang.
So if you just buy either a bag of coffee or MCT oil powder, they'll just toss in collagen protein in your cart because it'll all be over $25. And if you do yourself a favor, use the code GWTP. That's it. Just that, GWTP. I think I have let's see, what do I have this, right?
The link in there?
I have this. Yeah.
Yeah, the code there is nice.
Scan that. If you scan that, it'll take you to the website and it'll already be put in your shopping cart, the code. You get 10%, you get 20% off. You're going to get some free collagen protein with it. And 10% of everything you buy goes to charity. Shout out to Bubs Naturals. All right. And shout out to you, Will. Thanks for asking the question. Let's get to it. Today, we're going to start with the women.
I realized something.
What?
I made a mistake.
What?
It's okay. It won't change anything really, but I forgot that there was a second page. Somebody hinted me off to it about John Wellborn. I was like, why is John Wellborn not coming off on this list?
Okay.
And it's because there was 74 athletes, only 64 of which competed, Ben Smith included.
Okay.
But their scores won't really come into play.
They won't?
No.
So it doesn't change anything?
No, it won't change anything.
God, you're one of these.
Hey, you just made Chase take his little morning dump a little sooner.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
All right. I was like, oh man, all this buildup. Okay, good. That's good to know. That's good to know. What would have been nice is if you just never said anything at all because.
Well, I wanted to have transparency when we
fair.
didn't bring up John
Got
or Ben Smith. I wanted to be like, hey, everybody on the last page never scored over half.
Got it.
Yeah,
Sarah, when is Jeopardy coming back? 2025. We're working on a deal with Bubs to get that going. All right, let's get to it. Event number 1. It was Fran. It was chest to bar Fran. And along with the top 10, which we'll show for each event, I wanted to put some notables that were either down the leaderboard that were in the top 10 or maybe not in the top 10, depending which scoring system you use. So you guys know some impacts on some finishes. Mm-hmm. The time, right? This was for time. And everything was for time. That was your score, the time you got. This is the place you got. So the top 10 will always be the same when we look at an individual event because the top 10 doesn't change, just the score that you're given. If you get first place, you'll get 100 points. And then depending on between that and the 20th place finisher, is that it? Or the middle finisher? How did you do it with 75 people?
It would be the, what is it, 35?
The mean, right?
Yeah.
35.
All
right.
It's 35.
Linda Leeper wins 5:06. That's a damn good time for chest to bar Fran in 2008.
Hell yes, dude.
Considering
Are you kidding
the
me?
year before, only 4 girls could do pull-ups at the CrossFit Games.
Huge improvement.
That's massive.
I don't think I could do a 5-minute chest to bar Fran right now. Just based off my current fitness level, squatting ability.
5:06. Oh man, like so many girls now, like are easily in the 3s.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, 5:06 from what is this? 16 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you have to remember
program this for your gym, and unless you have girls that are going to semifinals, no one is touching that time.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
In your gym right now.
That 3-inch difference between a regular pull-up to chest to bar was it buried people. They were so not used to that. And that's what I always thought was one of the things that we saw early was Dave would do that. Like, oh, we're not going to do 95 pounds. We're doing 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Just a little touch to make it that much harder, and it smashes people.
So these are your top 10. Outside the top 10, Becca Voigt, Jenny Orr, Libby DiBiase. DiBiase. It's just a great name to say. Shout out to Libby. She's a cop now.
Yep.
Joe. It's awesome.
Where was
the men?
Katie on that.
Katie was 8th. Yes, Katie was 8th. Katie was your 2008 CrossFit Games champion that year. 6:58. So almost 2 minutes behind that time, but only a 27-point drop between. Shows you how bad the other ones were at the bottom. Right. Event 1, men, Chris Spieler, 3:01.
Crazy.
Josh Everett, 3:29. And with the 28-second difference is 15 points in the scoring system. Rick Frostow, 3:30, so 1 second back. Dutch, Pat Barber, Brett Marshall, Matt Chan, James Fitzgerald, OPT. And your 2008 CrossFit Games champion, Jason Kalipa, got 11th in this event. 55 seconds behind Chris Spieler. And Jeremy Teal, who was on the podium, I believe he was 3rd this year, is a minute and 12 seconds behind Chris Spieler. So 71 and a 62 there. So that's event 1.
Yeah, about a point every second.
A point per second. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right. Event number 2, Deadlift burpee. No, it was 5 rounds of like 10 and 5 or 5 and 10?
Yeah. It was
I gotta
5
admit it.
deadlifts, 10 burpees.
Slides. Dang it. I knew I forgot something. Libby DiBiase won the deadlift burpee at 3:23, 30 seconds ahead of Katie.
That's so crazy.
In a 3.5 minute workout.
It's nuts.
Which got her 18 points on a scoring system.
Yeah, and that was what was so hard. So I wanted to look at, I know I texted you about this. We've never had a scoring system this large.
Oh, yes.
With the number of athletes. And so I wasn't really sure how to do it. I mean, the only other way to do it would probably be points per place. So your first place finish gets 1. Mm-hmm. It was so hard to convert it. In other years, it's super easy because we have scoring tables that have matched every single year. It's usually, 40, 30, 20 athletes, something like that. But this year was tough on that scale. So it's hard to place it into current scoring system terms.
This is really a funny video of listening to you say Albany. Albany. I'm like, nope.
Albany
at all.
That's how my grandfather says like Vienna sausages, Viennese.
Yeah. What's wild here is actually, this was in the comment, is that Libby was a tiny human being into that. I mean, she still is. Notable finishes: Jolie Gentry 14, Cherie Chan 22, Linda Leapier, who won
the first event. Yeah,
got 23rd in the second event, and then Robin Lyons 31st.
Who is Robin Lyons?
Someone that may have been in the top 10 at the end of this weekend. Got a 31st in that one. Which, wait, let me go back to points. Is that 0.58 points?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Wow. Seriously?
Hitting it. At least she's putting points on the board.
Hey, not a 0.
Or not a negative.
Right. Yes. All right. 0.58 points for Robin. Event 2 for the men. Matt Chan, 233. Jay Scalipa, 4 seconds back. 4 points back. So this is more of a points per second as you were talking about. Chris Spieler, only 8 seconds back there. Mm-hmm. So your top 3 all separated by 8 seconds. 8 points. Look at that.
A point every 2.2 seconds.
Eric O'Connor. Look at that guy. Oh, Mr. String Bean Legs himself. Eric O'Connor. OPT 11th, Josh Everett, Jeremy Teal. These are 2 guys that were on the podium in 2008. Everett getting 2nd. Mm-hmm. Teal getting 3rd. OPT won the 2007 CrossFit Games. Event number 3, the hill run. Now, not the hill sprint. This is a hill run. It's about an 800 meters-ish up and down the hill.
The famous Ben Smith workout.
Ooh.
It's the one that he said he felt like he was so out of shape and like didn't work out at all in that one.
What's wild here is Aquila Tillman wins. Tanya Wagner gets 2nd. Lisa Bender is actually Lisa Teal. That's Jeremy Teal's wife. She takes 3rd. Jolie Gentry 4th. Cherie Chan 5th. Katie Matter 7th. But look at these on the outside of the top 10. Becca Voigt 11th. Libby 12th. Linda 13th. I mean, Linda's been keeping herself in there. Jenny Orr. Robin again. 28 points on that. Tamara Holmes. Amber Wiggs 29th. 9 points.
This is when it becomes very real to me, sort of the legacy of Becca Voigt. I know that John got in trouble for shitting all over Becca, saying that she didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame before certain other athletes. Not that she doesn't deserve to be in, but if we're doing like a first class of the CrossFit Hall of Fame, she doesn't deserve to be in. And it's like I'm making the case that she's definitely one of the first class athletes.
I think
because she she was doing this way back then.
And still doing it.
And that was John's whole argument. It's like, well, just because she's lasted this long doesn't mean that she's been great. I'm like,
it's pretty good.
We're not saying she's the best, dude. We're just saying it's pretty fucking damn impressive.
Yeah. And it's not like she started when she was 20.
No.
How old is she now?
She's in the Masters
she's in
division,
the Masters
35,
40.
39.
No, I think she's more than that.
40?
Yeah. Yeah.
God, it's so weird because I think, that I'm just like 38. So it skews my numbers on everybody.
I know. Like, Bill, you are
Bill, you're fucking old.
old, bro. I'm old. Let's see. How old is Becca Voigt? Semifinals. Let's go to.
Oh, she's got to be the same as like Sam Briggs, huh?
42.
42? Yeah.
All right, we're the same age.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, I was just guessing. I don't know if she is.
Oh, I think she's older than that.
Let's look up.
Look it up. We'll go to the men. Hill run for the men. Eric freaking O'Connor. If you've known Eric long enough, this will come up at some point in time because people pick on Eric all the time at seminars just because he brings it on himself. But he's like, remind me, who won event 3 at the 2008 CrossFit Games? 2 seconds over his buddy, Chris Spieler. That would be Eric O'Connor. 320, 322. Breck Berry, 325. James Fitzgerald, 4th place, tied with Simon Warnos. And notables, check this out. Josh Everett got 14th in that event. Jeremy Teal, 15th. Pat Barber, 18th. Jason Kalipa was 22nd in that event between him and Eric O'Connor. But it was only a 38-second difference.
Jeez, that's half the points. Wow.
38-second difference, half the points available.
So far, we've seen some of the top times are 3 minutes, 2:41, and then 3:22. So they're all roughly the same time domain.
Mm-hmm.
It's just worth noting for later.
Oh, yeah. All the same. Very all the same. Let's see. Becca Voigt, where are you?
I can't find it.
It doesn't have it listed on her.
No, they took all that stuff off. That's what drives me crazy.
2024, she was in the 40 to 44 division. So
she's over 42.
She's in that range. All right, now this is what we're going to do. Before we get to the final event, because the final event decided who won the CrossFit Games, we'll look at the standings after 3 events. So on the time side, which is what the game scoring was, Jillian Mouncey is winning with 14:37 of total time. Tanya Wagner is second, just 3 seconds behind her. Jolie Gentry is in third, 24 seconds back. Now your champ, Katie, is
a minute plus?
A minute,
yeah, 3
behind Jillian, and exactly a minute behind Tanya. Now, what that looks in P-Score is that Tanya would actually be leading with 248. Katie would be in second place going into the final event, only 21 points behind Tanya Wagner. Jolie Gentry still in third. Jillian Mouncey, who dropped from first to fourth. Libby went up a spot. Linda went down 2. Cherie Chan holds steady at 7th. And then Rebecca Voigt, Jenny Orr, and Miranda Oldroyd, shout out Miranda Alcaraz, all moved up 3 spots into the top 10 going into the final event. What event did Jason pass out? That was 2009, Hill Run. Yeah. I can't wait to see what happens in 2009. 2009. All right. So Katie, who was in 5th, a minute behind first, now is already up in the 2nd place based off her scoring performance.
So now's a good time to talk about, there was a comment you sent me last week about using Decathlon scoring.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, Decathlon scoring is like sort of infamous for being complicated. And Chase was like, can you sort of defend this? And I had to go back. I originally knew how it was calculated, forgot, and then had to go back and look at it. And so their general idea is what I was trying to do in Z-Score, which is they know what athletes are capable of doing. You have world records that are set, and then everything is scaled sort of off of that in an exponential function. And the whole idea, which I totally agree with, is the difference between a I don't know, a 5:30 mile and a 5:26 mile. That 4 seconds is a lot easier to get than the difference between a, you know, a 4:04 mile and a 4-minute mile. Right? Those 4 seconds are very different 4 seconds.
Right.
You're running uphill about as hard as you can, right? And so the reason that they can do that is because the events never change. It's always the same. They always know the world records. They always know about what athletes are capable of, and you can scale it off of that.
True.
That's what I was trying to do with Z-Score. The problem with CrossFit is the events are always different. We don't know what the world records are, and we can't set those ahead of time. And then even when we think we know, we're always wrong.
Yeah.
We thought 2:15 was as fast as you could go in Fran, and people are doing it in under 2 minutes now.
Right.
And it's like, so we can't do this moving all the time. Z-Score sort of accomplished that in that it tried to set a scale for as you went harder, you started to gravitate more and more points away.
Right.
But, it's just not easily communicated. This is a much easier thing to do. And so I think that the effect like that is what you're seeing in the scoring here of why there is so much shift.
Yeah. I think another reason why it's okay that CrossFit isn't like every other sport.
Right.
Maybe we should just be our own thing and stop trying to be like everybody else. Which we'll talk about next week. Foreshadowing. All right, let's go to the men. Just based off time, Chris Spieler is in first place by over a minute to second place going into the last event, which is 30 squat, clean, and jerks at 155 and 105.
Yep.
Chris Spieler
like body weight
maybe weighed 135 in 2008. Maybe. All right. Rick Frosto is in second. Josh Everett, third. Pat Barber, OPT, Dutch Lowry, Matt Chan, Jason Khalipa is sitting in eighth place going into the There's a reason nobody knew who this guy was going into the final. Because you guys have a minute and 30 seconds behind Chris Spieler.
If you haven't seen the video, you have to watch it because this is the point where Dave's like, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" He's like, "No, I'm in the top 10." He's like, "What? Who's that guy? What are you talking about?"
I go here.
You've been getting your ass kicked. What are you talking about?
So going into the final event, team, we missed the top of the show, this would be the order they would release the athletes in the top 10 going into the final. So Chris would go 59 seconds. Rick would go. 5 seconds later, Josh would go. 9 seconds later, Pat would go. 1 second behind is OPT. 7 seconds, 3 seconds, so on and so forth, right? People just get released.
I wonder how they administered that.
Probably stand at your bars and just like, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yep.
Go. Which is, again, so cool. So exciting. So fun. Someone said this, I think this week when I was listening to a podcast, but Greg would do this all the time. He's like, you know what you guys should try in your gym is like everybody run a 5K and record everybody's times. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to start everybody at your time difference and then go again.
I'd see if everyone comes in at the same time.
Seeing that comes in at the same time, or what it's like to be chased by other people, what it's like to chase other people. Like that is a different stimulus, and it definitely changes how people operate.
You could even do that, like if you're doing like a whole cycle, right? And you do these tester workouts, you could figure out about what people's movement speed. And then like, as you change the workouts, you could kind of do that in regular classes where you don't have that. Sure. So it's like based off this workout, you're kind of here. So I did the math and you're going to be kind of here. You're going to start with this person. I listened to Sousa talk about this and it was like, that's a really great idea to still drive a race and intensity in a regular class. I love that.
I've
never seen it.
I think it's him and JR talking about it. I was like, I forgot about that. P-Score. Chris Spieler is still in first place with 290 points. Rick Frosto is still in second place, 49 points behind him. OPT has moved into third. Everett down 1. Barber down 1. O'Connor moved up 7 spots from 13th place, is in 6th place going into the finale. Jason Khalipa is in 7th place, 67 points behind Chris Spieler. Over here, he was just a minute and 27 seconds away from Chris Spieler. Going into the final. Here we go. We'll start with the women. This is squat clean Grace. Katie Henniger, 330.
Smashed it.
Smashes it.
Yeah.
44 seconds behind her, Tamara Holmes. A minute and 10 seconds behind her, Tanya Wagner, which we knew had a minute lead on her going into the final. Robin Lyons, 5:15. Jillian Mouncey, 5:11. Becca Voigt, 7th place, ties with Mary Everett. Jenny Orr gets top 10. Libby DiBiase, 11th. Amber Wiggs. Jolie Gentry, 16th. Cherie Chan, 21st. Linda Leeper, who has been really in that top spot in the past 3, 30th place with 31 points.
Took a hit.
Your standings. Oh, yeah, I'll go to men. On the men's side, Jason Khalipa wins squat clean Grace at 246. Now, he was 67 points behind Spiel. Max Mormont, 2nd place, 324. Like almost 40 seconds behind. Jeremy Teal, 352. Everett, Lipson, Barber, Tincher, Austin Begiebing gets a top 10. Here's where you got to look at. James Fitzgerald gets 26th place. Chris Spieler got 42nd place. And Brett Marshall got 50th place. Spieler was almost 5 minutes slower than Khalipa.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Women's final standings on the left in the 2008 time scoring. Katie Henniger wins 10 seconds ahead of Tanya. Jillian Mouncey gets 3rd, 1948. Tamara Holmes, Jolie Gentry, Libby DiBiase, Rebecca Voigt, Amber Wiggs, Robin Lyons. That's why I had her in. She got a 30th place earlier, but still managed to stay in the top 10 on total time. Jenny Orr tying that. Look at that, 3-way tie.
Jeez.
8, 9, 10. 3-way tie for time. That's nuts. P-scoring for the women. Tanya Wagner outscores Katie Henniger by 9 points. And that puts her in 1st place using P-score. Katie gets 2nd. Jillian holds pat in 3rd place. Libby moves up 2 spots to a top 4. Jolie Gentry holds at 5th, 2 points behind Libby. Becca Voigt moves up 1. Jenny Orr moves up 3 from 10th to 7th. Tamara Holmes drops 4. Cherie Chan jumps 6, gets in the top 10, and Linda Leeper rounds out your top 10 for the women.
The way to understand this, people, because I kind of prefaced by saying like that all of the time domains are essentially very similar.
And we're not scoring this, right? No. You're scoring each individual one added together.
Right. And so the way and I also scored it based off just the time, just to see where the spread would be. But of course, like if the time's the same, the standings are all going to be the same because that's how it's scored. Each workout has its own difference value in how close the spread is going to be. And so in a Fran, if you are ahead by 30 seconds, that's a huge difference.
Tyler solidify that rope and never use P-scoring.
She had to know it was close at the end of the weekend. And for her to only lose by 9 points is I think she could see and understand that. And so in other workouts, like the spread's going to be much, much different. So people will be like, well, how did they finish in less time? I totally understand that argument, but each event has a different value in how much they're spread out. So
I think it's crazy where they really couldn't have done it to have the final score end up being like the 4 time and set everyone else off with those handicap time frames and stuff like that. You really couldn't have the events be that different in time, because then it skews everything.
Yeah. Like if they do a 5K,
that would then all of a sudden one event is way more expensive than all of the other events.
Yes.
Yep.
Of how that works. But this way, now with the P-Score added to it, you're taking every event individually rather than trying to put all of those events to the end, which are all basically buy-ins to find out where you're going to start.
Right.
For instance, in the last workout, for the men, there was a difference. It was like you got a point every 0.6 seconds, you got a point, right? But in other ones, it was every 2 seconds, you got a point.
Right.
So,
all right, men's turn. Final standings, game scoring, 4-time. Jason Khalipa comes out of 8th place, dominates the final, and wins at 13 minutes and 17 seconds. Josh Everett in 2nd place, 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Khalipa. Jeremy Teal in 3rd, 23 seconds behind Josh Everett. So those are your top 3. Barber, Tincher, Frosto, Lowry, Chan. Lucas Brainerd.
Brainerd.
I was just reading like you read Albany. Lucas Brainerd.
I don't hear the difference, dude.
Chris. Yeah. I don't see it. Chris Spieler, 10th place, 3 minutes and 14 seconds behind Jason Khalipa, and he had a 90-second lead on him going into the final.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a 42nd place finish in the final. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, I remember in the movie, in the documentary, Every Second Counts, there was the hubbub with Matt Mursky and him doing everything he can to go faster in the movement. And what he's doing is he's doing a squat clean and jerk, drop the bar, and then catch the bar on a rebound and basically take it into a hang squat clean and jerk. And I can't remember how many reps he did.
Lots.
7 or 8?
At least.
And then you just hear Dave Castro from like the Crow's Nest lifeguard stand overseeing everything. And it's like, you can't do that, start over. And that was probably the last time Matt ever competed in CrossFit because he was mad. Everybody was mad. They're like, they felt robbed. And you thought standards were a problem now. Just go watch that. But the way it was presented to me, Bill, I don't know if you felt the same way, is that Matt was like in contention to possibly win the CrossFit Games, and he totally got robbed.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he was so pissed about it.
Yeah. Do you want to
He knew he had to go fast.
Okay.
And I'm sure at that point, no one ever said you cannot rebound the bar off the ground and have that be your pull. I'm positive. We didn't have those. We weren't thinking that kind of stuff yet.
No.
Right.
So he was just being an athlete and going as fast as he could. And so when he got robbed of all that, what was impressive was he was arguing and still lifting at the same time.
Right.
He didn't stop right away, which was pretty impressive, whereas most athletes would completely stop.
Yeah.
And then try to wonder. And he's like, I'm still doing reps. I don't know what you're talking about. But then, yeah, he was pissed.
So with all of that, what place would you have thought Matt Mursky was in going into that final event?
I don't know. We didn't really see him on many of the other.
Would you like to know?
Yeah.
He was in 29th place.
Everybody wants to do their best.
He was in 29th place. So like all of this, oh man, I was so close. It's like he was in 29th place going into the final event. I thought he was in like 5th. Nope.
It is sort of petty of Dave to be like, nope, start over. It's like, this guy doesn't even matter.
Right. Yeah. It's like Jimmy Johnson on the old 90s Cowboys, just like cutting the walk-ons to show the stars. It's like, I'll cut you. I'll cut a player right now. I was like, a walk-on. So anyway, just some fun information. All right. You guys ready? Drum roll.
Mm-hmm. Go.
And your P-Score standings.
Ooh.
Chris Spieler.
Wow.
10th in time. Jumps 9 spots to top the leaderboard in 2008 by 7 points over Jason Khalipa. Josh Everett drops to third, but Chris Spieler jumps 9 spots.
And that was because of the balance between he did very bad in this event, but he won the Fran and won
crushed Fran,
and then the run. Because of those, he was so much higher, and that's where that came from.
So he got 30 points in the first workout. Spieler did over Khalipa, right? And so what happens is like that 56 seconds they had between them evaporated because the field was so bad at squat Grace. Like not so bad, but like it was just way more spread out, right? And so it was, you can never make up that difference. The workouts are not 1-to-1. And so Spieler hung on and kind of performed with the field. He didn't do great, but he still performed with the field on the last event. But it didn't matter because he lost so much time. He lost all 56 seconds just because that workout was so much harder. I would argue squat Grace is way worse than Fran every day of the week.
I'd say they're different.
Yeah, but
I'd say they're different.
What was it, 12-2?
Yeah, the 165.
Terrible. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Basically the same thing. But that's
wild.
Crazy.
9 spots?
In my head going in, I was like, I wonder if Josh Everett actually won the CrossFit Games in 2008. And I'm like, oh, no. It was the 10th place person, Chris Spieler, at a $135 soaking wet, did 20-pound over bodyweight squat clean Grace. Got beat by, 5 minutes? 3.5 minutes in the last one and lost all of his time lead. But he got using scoring relative to the field competing.
Okay, so then the question on that, I guess, would be, does the P-Score, I mean, we're showing your performance and you're being judged on your performance or awarded based on your performance. Are we overly awarding specialists?
No.
Because of the lightweight work, the running. I mean, he couldn't handle the lifting. And then there's Jason Khalipa, who where was he? He won the lift. How did he do on the Fran?
He got 11th on Fran. So looking at both of them, Spieler got first on Fran. Khalipa got 11th. Spieler got third in the burpee deadlift. Khalipa got second. Spieler got second in the hill run. Khalipa got 22nd. And then in the final workout, it's 42nd and first. So
you can blunt against your weakness on this one with the P-Score.
Colton Burns, is anything I know real anymore? No,
nothing is.
Everybody hates it.
And that's the thing. Is it that you're rewarding specialists or that you're accurately rewarding Spieler for how fit he was in these other things?
Yes.
Where you can't make up that much difference.
That's how good Spieler was in 2008. Except for one workout with a barbell 20 pounds over his body weight. It's nuts. Nuts.
I would have never thought that big of a jump.
Huge.
Not even close.
These things are the things that we wanted to see for fun.
That will be the largest difference ever made.
Yeah, a 10 to first place is nuts.
Yeah.
But
and to be able to have that and have Jason only move down 1 spot and have their scores be 3 points.
But that's how good.
That's nuts.
Final event.
Yeah.
He was so good in that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I mean, what was it? A minute faster than the other?
Yeah.
2:46, 3:24. The next person, a minute. That's how good he was.
Wow.
Crazy. Tyler, that was super fun.
Dude, thanks. Strong work, dude. Strong work on that.
Thank you guys for joining us. If you just joined us, spoiler alert.
Go back to the beginning.
Spoiler alert. That'll do it for us this week. We'll be back on Monday live on Coffee Pods and Wads. Bill and I will be there with Mr. Brian Spin, even though that's not his real last name, but I refuse to say the real one.
Sure it is.
Not that I refuse, it's just that I can't. But
you need to fill out one of those alias documents. You can register an alias.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you see him, you'll never find him on the open leaderboard, but he'll be there. It ain't going to be there. That'll do it for us, Tyler. Thank you so much for your hard work. We'll be back with 2009. We'll see with Christmas and holidays coming up, but we'll be back on Monday. And a lot of great football tomorrow. Pony up.
And tonight.
I don't know why I did the hook 'em horns. Pony up. Yeah, who's playing tonight?
Indiana and Notre Dame.
Is that tonight?
Yeah, that's tonight.
Ooh, battle for Indiana. Notre Dame versus Indiana. That's going to be great. And then good luck to the local high school team here, Highland Park Scots, playing for the Texas State 5A championship. Good luck.
Damn. Nice.
Good luck. So, yeah, a lot of good things in Dallas, Texas this year. So, hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoy that. Tyler, again, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.